All right, guys, welcome to TGIM. My name's Jared. I'm going to be running you through this evening. Any questions during, please just write them through on the messenger, or if you're watching this on recording, please just put them in the comments after we upload it into the group. But today's on having big goals, because sometimes I think, me in particular, the reason why we don't succeed at the rate that we want to, and being a really impatient guy, I always feel that way, is because I don't feel like the goals are set high enough, meaning, we set our goals too small and hit, rather than setting really big goals. Like for you guys, what do you think you're better off doing? Setting a really small goal and hitting that goal, or setting a really big goal and coming just short? Because even if you set big goals and you just miss, you're still going to be better off, and you're still going to achieve more by then setting small goals and hitting. So I think that's really a key to unlocking your potential. And the things we have to realize if we are going to set big goals for ourselves, and this is for all avenues of life, guys, I'm going to talk really broadly, is different, because most people don't set any goals. Like, I'm talking like 90% of the people you'll meet in your life won't really have any goals, or if they do, they're really small. So one person might come up, and sometimes we hear it, especially in Herbalife, when we're talking to our clients, we're talking to our members, and they go, yeah, I'd just love to be able to knock off supervisor in 12 months. And you kind of think to yourself, 12 months? Are you serious? That's like ages, because that's just where their mindsets are at. And they can't set those goals big enough because they're so scared of failing. So the things we have to realize about setting big goals, once again, is it's different. So that will make you different to others, which will then cause people, like, not everyone will have your vision. And that's okay. That's okay. You don't need them to be honest. Like, if you're waiting for everyone to have the all same vision as you're going to be waiting forever, because it just will not happen. And the other thing we have to realize is people won't buy into it. People won't join us. People won't join you on your quest to lose 30 kilos because they don't want to. Like, they just don't want it. People won't join you on your quest for a better life. In fact, it's probably the opposite, where people will try to drag you down, like the yabby theory, right? So it's really important to realize that. It's important to just know that off the top, and then you understand that that's part of the process when you're actually growing and you're setting these massive goals for yourself. The reason why this is on big goals is I'm listening to Times 10 Rule by Grant Cardone again. It's like the 8th time. And every time I feel like I do, my goals grow, or added to, right? So meaning that we just got to, like even myself, like, I think I have a big vision, and then I go meet someone with a really big vision, and mine goes, whoa, let's expand again, and you'll never go back. Like, once you see that vision in your brain, with those goals attached, and you can feel it, and you really, really want it, you'll never go back to just wanting normal. You'll just see all the little things along the way as stepping stones towards that. Like for example, when I first ran into Herbalife, I thought, I can do this. Like, I thought straight away I could do this. And of course my belief wavered along the way when things got a little bit harder. But I always believed I could do it, because I seen people up the front of the stage in my very first meeting who I didn't perceive as superhuman, and they were president's team and chairman's club, right? So I always thought I could do it. And along the way, that belief was just ingrained every single event I went to. And then what happened with the other positions in the marketing plan and all the other success, it was just stepping stones towards that goal. And then once you hit it, then what? You set bigger goals, right? So that you expand them out again. Even if you haven't hit it yet, you'll find your goals will expand. So that's why I never got, like, some people get stuck on a pin because their goals actually get to them and they can't see past that. So when they get there, they stop working. And then all of a sudden, 6 months later, they want to go mill team, and they've lost all their momentum because I've stopped working. Whereas it was never the case for me, because it was never the end game. They were just stepping stones. They were like little achievements on the way to the big dance, right? So that's just an example And obviously I use Herbalife as an example a lot because that's just what I do and it just comes easy. So the other thing with big goals is we have to realize that no one can actually do it for us but us, or for you but you. Like, you have to take responsibility for that. They're your goals. You're the one. You have the power. You're powerful. You have the answer. And no one can tell you no, because what I know is Richard Branson was a year 10 dropout. And he's one of the most successful people in the world because he just worked on himself, got better, and now, he's one of the best. So why can't we all do that? There's no reason why we can't. So we've got to keep pushing. You're the solution to every goal that you have in life. It always comes down to a few key things for me. Number one, work ethic. Number two, consistency. It's no good working hard for a day. Being really consistent and being passionate about your goals and your mission and your vision for yourself. Your massive vision plan, MVP, what Quentin was saying, and your massive action plan, MAP. Right? So I read a really good quote from Eric Thomas today, and I'm going to share it to you guys because I really think it's one of those things that kind of works you. Like, when you're working towards big goals, it's not easy. And that's why they're big, and that's why they're worthwhile to you, and that's why they're predetermined, because it's not an easy thing. And that's why most people can't even set them, because they're so scared of failing that they can't even perceive themselves as being there. Like, it's so far away. Okay, so, and the quote is, in life, you're either coming into a storm, you're in the storm, or you're coming out of the storm, and that's part of life. So I'll say that again for you guys. In life, you're either coming into a storm, you're in the storm, or you're coming out of the storm, and that's part of life, right? In life, shit happens, but if you don't have goals, then it's not. There's nothing to pull you out the other side of that. You'll be stuck in that, stuck in those bad situations that we all get ourselves in. But if you have goals, you're able to drag yourselves out, because you, like, all these failures, they're worthwhile because they're the lessons you have to learn to get to those goals that you've set. So, we've got to see the failures as part of the process, and we've got to see the failures as building the muscle. Okay, so for example, I was just telling Tom, who's sitting over there, he's probably on Tinder or something, but oh no, he's writing notes, Jesus. I just told Tom that I spoke to 29 people today, new contacts. I got 2 new clients and a new distributor, which is amazing, right? But with that, and still working some people. But with that being said, I know as a stone cold fact that 90% of those people, maybe 95, nothing will happen with. And if you can't accept that, then it's still part of the process. But once you understand that and you've done that enough, you get the outcomes, and you just concentrate on the positive, of course. But the failures is like building the muscle, and it's harder at the start. But I had a really big crash course in this, because I used to knock on doors for commission only, rain, hail, shine, snow, 40 degrees days here in Albury. You could imagine walking around in the summer here. And we would literally do a sale a day, maybe 2. And you get paid maybe $80 a sale on average, right? So, you think I'd be covering 120 doors and doing 2 sales. So that's like a Scheisenhausen load of no's. Yeah, so I already had that muscle built, but some of us don't. So we need to develop that. And I think it's more of just an understanding on us that we will hear them. It's just the nature of the business that a lot of us are in. It's the nature of life. Like, if you're working towards anything worthwhile, we hear about, there's all these stories, especially with bands, how they go to record deal, to place, and they say no. They won't listen to their CD. They won't listen to their CD. How do you say his name? Slim Shady. Eminem, like the food. Eminem. Sorry, I've a dumb botched it. It fries my brain. Yeah, so he went to record company to record company to record company with his CD, done all this live rapping, all these rap battles, and finally, he was about to give up, got discovered by Dr. Dre, and the rest is history. You know, he's one of the best-selling hip-hop artists of all time. So just as an example, right, and there's so many examples of that throughout life where they've, you know, you don't really read about people who've just tried something once and bang, you know, they've made it. It just doesn't happen, guys. There's persistence, there's consistency, there's hard work, and there's always a never quit attitude. Always, 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 always. So, you know, like we were kind of saying at the start as well, why doesn't everyone have big goals? And it's always a fear of failure. It's always a fear of failure. You know, people can't accept the fact that no's are part of the yeses. People can't accept the fact that you're going to get more no's than yeses. People can't accept the fact that you have to work hard when it's a life-changing thing. Otherwise, it would be normal. Because like I said at the start, if you've got big goals, it's not normal. Okay, so we've got to keep working that. And you know, the big thing for me, guys, before I open up the questions with you guys, is, you know, what is your vision for yourself? What is your vision for your family? What is your vision for your business if you're in business? What is your vision for your finances if you're not? What is your vision for, like, what does it all look like, guys? Because if we can't see it, we'll never achieve it. So we have to think about these things. And if we can't see it, you know, if you can't see yourself, you know, in that house of your dreams, you'll never live in it. If you can't see yourself in that car that you always want to drive, you'll never drive it. If you can't see yourself with that body that you want, you'll never live in it. Okay, so we have to see it first. And for me, it always comes down to one thing. It's always mass action towards that and towards the thing. Sometimes you can it's okay to set big goals, guys, and not know how you're going to achieve it. It really is. Because if you have the big goals, what you do is your focus goes towards those goals because you've written them down, they're front of mind, and then all of a sudden you start to see things and you start to attract things towards yourself that actually start helping you fulfill those goals. So you'll start seeing signs for, let's use your body as an example, and you want to get super ripped, right? Someone sets that example, and we always, you guys would have picked this up as well if you're kind of observing what your people are saying, that when you're talking to your new clients who come in the door, especially if they're cold market, they go, oh, I've actually been looking for a place, like if you invite them to the workouts, of course, just as an example. Oh, I've actually been looking for a place to work out. You know, I want to lose some weight. Because all of a sudden they've set a goal, even if they didn't write it down, because most people won't, but it's subconscious. And then all of a sudden it's at the front of their mind and their mind's looking for the answers, and then they come across you. So it's the same thing for the rest. You know, if you're looking, like if your focus for your Herbalife business, for example, is you want to go get team, and you know when you look at the marketing plan, you need more people to be able to do it, then you can reverse engineer that in your own mind to, okay, I'm looking for people to bring into the business and to help build their business so mine builds as well, my royalty builds, right? So you kind of set the goal and then you reverse engineer it in your mind. But what it always comes down to is mass action, and it's always less talk. The amount of times that I've heard that people are going to do something, people are going to execute their 90-day plan, people are going to do all this stuff, and they just don't. They just don't do it. Like, talk's cheap for me, and that's why. And Meg will laugh at this if she's listening. But sometimes, you know, people come to us or come to me in particular and say, "This guy, he's going to be awesome. He's got this, he's got that, blah, 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 blah. He's got potential." And then it's like, okay, well, let's see what he does. Because talk's cheap. It doesn't matter what he's saying he's going to do. The only thing that matters is what he's going to do. Tom Taco, for example, told me he was going to talk to 1 million people today. He spoke to 3. Throw him under the bus, but talk's cheap. It's not going to get results unless you're talking to people, and then it will, of course, in Herbalife. But, you know, talking about the goal and executing the goal is what separates success or from champions, from people who just don't get there at the end of the day. So, guys, I'm going to throw it over to you and these guys here. If you got any questions, fire them through. We've got exactly 3 minutes to type them in. Go. Tom's just saying, did you say it was fair or unfair?
Unfair.
He said it was unfair and he feels personally attacked. You know, I'll personally attack you after this goal. Hey?
At least I could say M&M.
Well, it's a hard word to say.
M&M.
When I say peanut M&Ms, I'm fine, but M&Ms are different. Slim Shady. All right, you guys know who I meant. I can't ever think of examples that I can say.
It's in my notes.
She was trying to do it to you when you were talking.
Oh, why?
I know she did it to me, she did it to Bobby. And then she was trying to do it to you, but you weren't watching. She does it all the time.
Well.
What'd she do? Oh, yeah.
All right, guys, get these questions through or we're all done here. You guys have a question?
No.
Well, you don't.
Don't you have a question for Jared?
What's your goal?
In which area? You want me to cover them all?
What's your biggest goal? What's going at the moment?
Biggest goal, business-wise, Chairman's Club.
And then what's your goal fitness-wise?
Oh, it's always to lose weight, isn't it?
Yeah, but
So
give us
like
a
a-
number. What number do you want to be at?
Hey?
What number do you want to be at?
85,
What do you got there?
92. Going down, though. So the question here from Meg or someone with Meg is, when you first started, did you have periods where you just weren't successful, then suddenly it all came, as in successful in recruiting? Yes. You guys know the story that I had, I literally had 14 people in this meeting once, like 14 guests in a HOM, brand new. It was in my first 6 months of business, so I was still pretty raw as well. And they decided, the lifestyle center that I was working at decided in their wisdom to put a lady called Edna up to do the meeting. And she was, Quinton was there. He can tell this story as well, and it's very funny when he tells it because he's so expressive. But she got up the front, and it was literally to this day, and ask Hillman about this as well, the worst meeting I've ever been in. She was like shaking like this because she was so petrified. And she'd been in Herbalife 20 years, by the way. Broken English, 60, maybe 70-year-old Filipino lady doing the HOM, right? And they all said they were pumped, and they all said they would like I'd call them the next day, would hook up, and they'd get registered. So I was super amped. Called them all, none of them picked up. Called them all again, none of them picked up. So yeah, it comes and goes. But what I know is when it comes to success in recruiting, is it's a numbers game, and it always, for me, it always comes at once. I don't know why. Like I was saying off the stage, no, like I said in your comment, Megan, that in your WLC group, you know, when we're doing our 10 a days consistently, I recruited 4 of my current members. Oh, it's Colin. So 4 of my members who are working now and building business, and one of them's you, Colin, within, I think it was 5 people on the end of a Friday. So like it was the last 5 people that I spoke to. I was doing 10 a day on the end of a Friday, meaning I spoke to 45 people with no success, not just about recruiting, about the products, about coming to Fit Club, etc., etc. And then one of those people was Tom. One of those people was you, Colin. So you're a supervisor now. This all happened in the same day. Tom's a qualified producer, and Annalise is 100 volume points off qualified producer, and we'll crush it. So, you know, so it's always a light at the end of the tunnel thing. It's always like that analogy, like I said at the SDS, where, you know, you got the 2 different tunnels and a big diamond mine here, and this guy turns around up the top and quits, and he's like this close to the diamonds, and the other guy finds them. So it's always, it's a consistency thing. It's a law of averages thing. But it's also a skill thing. That's why you have to be consistent with it so you develop the skills. And maybe instead of trying to recruit one person, just try to recruit 10. And then if you do half of that, you still got 5. Like the point of the TGIM, right? Like setting bigger goals. Because everyone out there wants to make an extra $500. You just got to show them that they can do it with Herbalife. And use the system.
How do you like remotivate yourself if you don't hit a goal?
When you become short.
Yeah.
So Bobby just asked, how do I re-motivate myself if I don't hit a goal? Or if I come short? Well, I guess the reason why I set big goals is because even if I fall short, I'm still doing more than hitting a small goal.
Is it like
Like way more.
Do you ever feel like happy about that?
No, because yeah. So you can always review your performance at the end of the day, and you know, like I'd never be disappointed in myself if I knew I'd poured it on, and I knew I'd worked hard, and I knew I'd been consistent, maybe learn a whole bunch of skills along the way, and stuffed a whole bunch of stuff up as well, and learned from that. And if I fall just short from that goal because it was so big and predetermined, I'd never be disappointed with myself, to be honest. Because it's more about the person you become on the way to your goals that will get you there anyway. And then you just drop the timeline back another 90 days and go a bit harder. But I honestly think if you set big goals, it's hard not to be like, if they really kind of inspire you and they become like a real mission and something that you want to achieve. I think it's really hard not to not to be motivated by them. Like if your goals don't motivate you, that you need to set better goals, I think. Would you also find that your PD helps you stay focused? Is that right? From Janice. Yeah, of course it does, but it more keeps you on track. Like I probably do about 20 minutes of PD a day, and that's about it. You know, the personal developments in the person that you become from the application of the PD, but the application towards your goals and the struggles and learning the lessons, you know, from application. You can't personally develop without action. So if you're talking about the PD as in taking the action, yes, it does help me stay focused because you get results if you're doing it enough. If you're talking about like putting good information in the ears, yeah, because you understand that it's all just a process and you learn from that as well, and you hear some words that kind of inspire you and maybe make you kind of, you know, do those first 2 or 3 invites from a Herbalife perspective, and then you're pumped up. Matt just asked, what was your biggest hurdle to overcome to reach your goals? Well, I'll tell you when I reach them, Matty. But the ones I have achieved, it's more about it's always like the thing I had to realize was it was always me. So to stop blaming others for my lack of perceived success, you know, and that's all relative, and that's an internal job as well. But coming back to knowing that it all comes down to you, so you're the solution. If you're not getting to where you want to be, then it's you've got to have a good chat to the guy in the mirror and go, right, what am I going to do about it? And not have a sook about it like I did for 12 months when I was world team. Because I was like stuck there and it sucked. It's the longest I've ever been at a pin. It was world team. Because I was there after a month of business, And then I had a few lessons to learn before I was the person required to go through the marketing plan. Good questions, though, guys. You guys are on fire. Good topic. Topics, Cater. Jesus Christ. You going to play any of that, or? You're going to send it to Jake. Maybe work on yourself first, buddy.
Zing.
Hey?
Zing.
Zing.
Once again, personally attacked.
I'm feeling really attacked at the moment.
The only reason I do Peter is you make me feel attacked.
All right, guys. If there's no more questions, if there is, feel free to whack them in the comments. I'll put this on the YouTube and put it straight into the group. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.